My birthday didn't begin with candles or calls from family. It began with my phone vibrating in my apron pocket while I was halfway through a double shift at the cafe. I had one hand sticky from caramel syrup and the other wiping down a counter when I glanced at the screen, expecting something simple. Maybe a happy birthday. Maybe nothing at all. Instead, I got a message that made my stomach drop. We sold the car. Family comes first. Be grateful we let you live here. That was it. No greeting. No explanation. Just 3 sentences that erased 2 years of my life. I'm Ava. I was 22 that day. And that car wasn't a gift, a favor, or a shared family asset. It was the result of 2 years of early mornings, late nights, and skipped weekends. I bought it myself, one paycheck at a time, because it was the only thing that made my life feel like it actually belonged to me. Before I could even process the first message, another one popped up. Your brother is starting college. You'll cover his first semester. $6,000. We need it this week. I stared at the screen, my chest burning. No asking, no discussion, just a demand like I was an ATM they could tap whenever they felt like it. My fingers hovered over the keyboard. I thought about all the times I'd said yes. All the bills I'd covered just this once. All the moments I'd been told I was responsible, mature, helpful until I wasn't useful anymore. I typed one word. No. My phone rang instantly. I answered, and the yelling exploded through the speaker. My dad's voice, sharp and furious. My mom is crying, talking over him. Words like ungrateful, selfish, after everything we've done for you, came at me so fast I could barely breathe. Then my dad said it, pack your things. You're dead to this family. The call ended. When my shift finally finished, the parking lot was empty. No car, just asphalt and the quiet confirmation that they hadn't been bluffing. They really sold it on my birthday without asking. I walked home replaying every time I'd helped them, setting up online banking, fixing the Wi-Fi, paying a bill so the lights wouldn't shut off. All those little things I thought made me part of the family. Apparently, they were just keeping score. That night, I packed 2 bags and made one decision. If I were so easy to cut off, then they were about to learn how much they actually depended on me. They thought selling my car was the worst thing they could do to me. They had no idea what would happen once I stopped holding their lives together. Before I finished packing, I walked back into the kitchen and asked the question I already knew the answer to. Did you really sell my car? My mom stood at the counter scrolling through her phone, completely calm, as nothing unusual had happened. She didn't even look up. We did what we had to do, she said. Family comes first. That phrase again, always used like a weapon. Your brother's future matters more than your convenience, she added. Convenience, 2 years of double shifts, aching feet, and missed sleep were reduced to a minor inconvenience because it didn't benefit the right person. I paid for that car, I said, my voice shaking despite my effort to stay calm. Every dollar. You didn't buy it, you didn't earn it. That's when my dad stepped in from the living room, TV still blaring behind him like background noise to my life falling apart. You live under our roof, he snapped. You eat our food. We don't need permission from a child to make decisions for this family. A child. At 22, while paying bills, they couldn't manage themselves. I laughed, but it came out broken. Funny how you didn't sell anything that belonged to Mason, I said. Not his gaming setup. Not your truck. Just the one thing that was mine. My mom finally looked at me then. Her expression was tired, cold, and final. You're the oldest, she said. That means you give more. Mason has potential. You can survive without a car. She said it like she hadn't spent months bragging to relatives about how responsible I was, how I handled everything online, how I kept things running. You could have asked me, I said quietly. You didn't have to decide my money belonged to him. My dad stepped closer, his voice lowering. We raised you for 22 years. $6,000 is nothing compared to what we spent on you. You owe this family, and there it was, not love, not gratitude, a debt. I looked at them differently then, like strangers who'd memorized my value but never cared about me. If I'm dead to you, I said, steady now, then stop spending my life like it's yours. I turned down the hallway toward my room. My dad brushed my shoulder as if to block me hard enough to sting, not hard enough to stop me. That was their mistake. Fear would have kept me quiet. Anger made me clear. I closed my door, opened my closet, and started pulling my life off the shelves. Closed documents, my laptop, the little jewelry box my grandmother gave me. Not just packing things. Reclaiming them. They thought I was walking out with bags. They didn't realize I was taking something far more dangerous with me. I packed fast, but carefully. Not like someone running away, like someone reclaiming pieces of herself. Clothes went into a duffel. My laptop slid into its sleeve. Chargers, documents, my passport, and the small jewelry box my grandmother gave me before she moved away. Things that proved I existed beyond that house. Things they couldn't replace or control. My phone buzzed while I worked. A message from Jenna, my best friend, the one person who had seen through my family's "we re just struggling" story. If you leave tonight, you can stay here. No questions. That was all I needed. I zipped the bag and looked around my room. Posters I'd put up years ago. Books I'd paid for myself. A space I was supposed to be grateful for, even while being reminded daily that it wasn't really mine. What they never understood was this: I wasn't just their daughter. I was their system. I was the one who handled the bills because they didn't trust online stuff. The one who set up autopay so utilities wouldn't shut off during storm season. The one who fixed the Wi-Fi while my dad cursed at the router. The one who tracked expenses so there were no surprises. They called it helping. I called it unpaid labor. If I were selfish, if I were ungrateful, if I were dead to them, then they didn't get to keep using me. When I opened my door, my mom was waiting in the hallway, arms crossed. "You're being dramatic," she said. "You'll calm down and apologize." My dad stood behind her, blocking the path like a wall. "Put the bags back," he ordered. "You're not leaving to punish us." I looked at them both, really looked. The disappointment, the entitlement, the absolute certainty that I'd fold like I always had. "I'm not punishing you," I said. "I'm just finally believing you." I walked past them. My dad's hand twitched as he might grab me, but he didn't. Something in his face shifted when he realized I wasn't bluffing. Outside, the air was thick and humid. I texted Jenna that I was on my way and waited at the end of the street. While I waited, I opened my phone and scrolled through a list I knew by heart. Power account, water account, internet, bank logins, budget, dashboards, everything I controlled for them. They thought the only thing they lost that night was a car and a daughter. They had no idea how much of their life ran through me. Jenna's car pulled up, headlights washing over the street I'd grown up on. I didn't look back when I got in. I already knew what I was going to do next. They slept peacefully that night, thinking I'd just stormed off. By morning, they'd learn what life looked like without me holding it together. Jenna's apartment smelled like cold takeout and vanilla candles, and somehow that felt safer than the house I'd just left. I dropped my bags by the couch and finally let my body relax. Not cry, just breathe. I told her everything. The birthday text, the car. The demand for $6,000 was already theirs. She didn't interrupt. When I finished, she said the one thing no one in my family ever had: "That's not normal. And it's not okay." The anger that stayed with me wasn't loud anymore. It was quiet, organized. I opened my laptop. For years, my parents had handed me every bill, every login, every account with the same excuse: "You're good with this stuff." I linked their utilities, set up bank alerts, tracked spending, and built a simple budgeting dashboard during an online coding course. It started as practice. It became the backbone of their household. They loved the neat charts. Loved telling people how responsible they were. They never questioned the system, just assumed it existed for their benefit. That night, I didn't hack anything. I didn't steal. I didn't touch a dollar that wasn't mine. I simply stepped out of the picture. First, I moved my money, every cent I'd earned, into an account with only my name on it. No shared access. No explanations. Then I logged into the utility portals and removed my card auto payoff. Contact emails changed to addresses they never checked. They could still log in. They could still pay. They just had to do it themselves. Jenna watched quietly. "You sure this won't come back on you?" "I'm not taking anything," I said. "I'm just not carrying it anymore." Then I opened the budgeting program. For months, it had been quietly collecting everything: bank statements, card histories, payment dates. I'd kept the detailed reports private, using them only to suggest cutting costs that were always ignored. This time, I changed one setting. Automatic report. Full breakdown, recipients added. Not just my parents, Aunt Brenda, Grandma Evelyn. A few relatives who loved commenting. Family comes first on my mom's posts. No commentary. No edits, just numbers. "Brutal," Jenna whispered. "It's not brutal," I said. "It's honest." I hit save, closed the laptop, and leaned back against the couch. While I slept, The program would do what numbers always do when no one hides them. Tell the truth. By morning, my parents wouldn't just be missing a car and a daughter, they'd be facing something far worse: witnesses. My phone started vibrating before the sun came up. For a split second, I forgot where I was. Then I saw Jenna's ceiling and remembered everything. The birthday, the car, the lie they'd been living inside. The notifications didn't stop. Missed calls from my mom. Texts from my dad. Messages from relatives who usually only contact me on holidays. I opened the family group chat first. It was chaos. Questions, confusion, screenshots. Someone had forwarded the report. Clear rows, clean charts. No emotions, just numbers laid out without excuses. How much I'd paid. How much they hadn't. Where the money actually went after bills were covered. My aunt asked if the data was real. My grandmother asked why I'd been paying so much without anyone mentioning it. Then my mom started damage control. Claims about misleading information. Comments about me twisting things. Attempts to rewrite the story she'd told for years. But numbers don't argue. They just sit there. Jenna handed me coffee as I answered one call, my aunt's. Her voice was tight but gentle. "Are you safe?" she asked first. When I said yes, her tone changed. "Did they really sell your car?" "Yes," I said. "I paid for all of it." Silence. Then a slow exhale. "They told us you barely helped," she said. "That you refused to contribute." I almost laughed. Instead, I told her the truth. Not dramatically, not angrily, just clearly. After I hung up, a message came from my brother. "I didn't know. I swear, I didn't know." That mattered more than I expected. Over the next 2 days, the story my parents had controlled for years collapsed under its own weight. Relatives stopped defending them. Offers to help them out quietly disappeared. The phrase "family comes first" suddenly didn't work anymore. Because now everyone could see who had been paying for that family. My parents never apologized. They called it betrayal. They said I embarrassed them. They said I ruined their reputation. But a reputation built on someone else's sacrifice isn't real. It's borrowed. I didn't go back. Jenna added my name to the lease when it renewed. My manager hinted at a promotion. The coding course I'd taken emailed me about an internship apparently. Building real systems for real problems counted for something. For the first time, my life wasn't about preventing someone else's crisis, it was mine. Here's what I learned. If someone says family comes first while emptying your savings, selling your property, or punishing you for saying no, that's not love, that's control. You don't owe anyone your freedom because you share a last name. My parents wanted gratitude for a roof they used as leverage. What I'm grateful for now is something else entirely. A locked door I pay for. A bank account no one can touch. And a life where my no finally means something. They sold my car. I sold the lie. And I bought myself back. Thanks for watching the video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell icon.